Hey, well, good afternoon, everyone. Scott Gallagher here with Phantasma, and boy, am I excited to be back on the camera and talking about some great things. There's just been so much going on in the last little while. I know you guys have been seeing, different partnerships have been coming out, and a variety of different technologies that's and announcements and enhancements to the chain, and growth to the team, and there's just an abundance of elements behind the scenes. But today, I am excited to jump on the air, and when we signed this partnership and we got in bed with the team, it was like, man, we really got to talk about this a little bit because this is real world stuff, and this is going to bring us use, utility, and adoption to the Phantasma Chain and some great value to the Polinate community. So first off, I want to welcome the Polinate community to today's events, and I'd like to welcome Babs, CEO over at Polinate, as well as Gerald, CMO over at Polinate. We've got some great things to talk about today on how these two projects can facilitate change in so many different sectors and empower the average user, the stay-at-home mom that's trying to start a business, or the musician that's been struggling throughout COVID, or that content creator that wants to provide education to a community. That stuff literally is giving me goosebumps. So guys, I just want to say welcome. I know, Babs, you're feeling a little under the weather today, so thanks, man, for giving me your time. And Gerald, thank you for coming on the air. Sorry, we had some problems with Gerald's audio, but go ahead and say hi, Gerald, so people know you're there.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Yeah,
there he
all
is.
Good.
Yeah.
Man himself.
Yeah, he's like put off in a little corner or something like that. Like, sorry, we couldn't get the camera to work.
It's great to be here, Scott. Always great to chat to you. I mean, you always got some innovative things to talk about, and the vision and the smart NFTs and everything Phantasma is doing right now. I think this is going to lay the foundation for people to look back and say, this is where it started. So I'm happy with what we're doing with Polinate, with Phantasma Chain, bringing you guys to creators and really growing this ecosystem. So thank you, everyone from the Phantasma Chain community as well, for having us here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's interesting, Babs, because it's like I still think of myself as, well, not so much of a rookie anymore, but not a veteran either in the crypto community. My lifetime in the crypto community is just slightly over 2 years, which really in that world is now becoming almost that veteran status. But our relationship is half that time, and I was thinking about that before today's event. I was like, man, we've been chewing the fat for over a year now, and that's an eternity in crypto.
It is, honestly, it isn't. You saying a year and you saying you've been in this space for 2 years, it feels so much longer. Things just move so fast. There's just so much happening. I feel like I've known you for about 10 years now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, why don't we start off with that? What have you been up to for the last year, and what are we going to talk about with what's Polinate? Give us the elevator pitch,
absolutely.
man.
Yeah. So let's get everyone caught up. So I've been in the crypto industry for a number of years now, but for the past year I've been helping projects launch. But Polinate was something that was close to my heart because we know people within the creative industry who weren't getting the recognition that they deserved, and we know there's talent out in third world countries who can't get the funding or the social capital that they deserve. So we were sitting down with the Terra Virtua team around this time last year, actually, and we were saying, look, you've got marketplaces, you've got all of these different aspects within the NFT world, but we don't have anything for discovery. We don't have anything for artists to come out in both the crypto realm and the traditional realm where they can get funding from their fans, right? Enough of this, going to VCs or going to music executives and them taking 80%. Try and engage the fans and the communities together. Let them build the next generation of creatives and artists. Let them lead, the creativity and which way they want it to go. So the past year has just been, really hard working on the platform, getting everything launched, getting all the apps ready. And because we're, slowly moving this towards a DAO, it's the case of making sure the decentralized components are strong enough. And well, it's got, how hard that is, and maintaining everyone's happiness at the same time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you've inevitably been very busy, and the opportunities for the project is profound. Essentially, you're a platform that allows people to create revenue for their passion, whatever their passion project may be. and that those people could be an artist, a musician, a YouTuber, an educator. The list really goes on of a variety of different projects. That if I'm one of those and I need some funding, I can then create a campaign, and I can do an INO, an initial NFT offering, and that NFT can offer value to that community for whatever they're doing, whatever that project is, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
mentioned
Exactly.
DAO. DAO is an interesting. It's a word. It's a word that a lot of people. No, it's not a word. It's an acronym that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't really understand what decentralized autonomous organization truly is. And I try to explain it to people that 3 years ago it was oracles, 2 years ago it was DeFi, this last year it was NFTs, next year it's DAOs. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't care, but the power of DAOs is fascinating. What's an interesting tidbit about DAOs in the United States that I think is just awesome? That there's one state right now that, as of we were talking about this, I believe, that as of September of this year, the state of Wyoming has recognized a DAO as a legitimate LLC. In other words, a business. And so, it won't be long before all the states in the union are recognizing this, and this can empower somebody to go buy own a fraction portion of a NASCAR per se, and run that as a business behind it. And you are just taking that DAO concept to allow fractional involvement into somebody's project, right?
Exactly that. But the thing is with Polinate, so Polinate itself, as it stands, right, as the launchpad stands, it's like Kickstarter but decentralized. Okay, you can invest in anything, anyone, right? Take it to the next level. We want to bring in royalties later on, but right now it's a case of you can have access to concerts in 5 years time, 3 years time. There's social proofing that you were backing this artist when they were nothing, when no one was behind them, right? It's about that journey. But the platform itself, the DAO aspect behind it is, if we're trying to create this kind of democratized funding for creatives, and the fans are being involved in that, then Polinate itself should in sense be a DAO itself, because the fans, the users, the community should gauge which way Polinate goes, what it brings on, have that whole aspect of this is community governed, this is community driven, this is an ecosystem where everyone has a say, and everyone can take this to the next level and say, okay, this is where we want to be, this is where we are, how do we collectively get to that state?
It's profound in so many different ways. When I start to conceptualize like we take a step back, and all blockchain truly is just software, and it's software that's decentralized, that's allowing us to identify a multitude of use cases that we could have never have conceptualized before. It's absolutely fascinating as we explore. I'd really like to explore some of that a little bit, and start to talk about how these different groups that you've identified that create potential projects, on how an INO can bring value to their concept. Try to paint that picture. But before we get into that, Gerald, I want to hear a little bit about yourself and learn a little bit about your involvement with the project, and your passion for it, because anybody that's in a crypto project has got to be passionate to get behind it. So let's hear some of your story.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, to me, it's been it's a short journey. I mean, in a sense, it's been a few months with Polinate, but I just feel like I've been working here for years and just gaining a lot of experience. I mean, marketing is one part of it, where, of course, we need to create awareness of what we are doing. But in terms of the kind of passion or the actual core value of what Polinate is all about is to give access to any kind of creators. I mean, like we want to really have a product or a platform where people would come and start getting out their projects. And I know a lot of artists myself, like who has absolutely no access of, I mean, they're really skillful and they have a lot of artworks and they're really creative, but they do not know where to go. So I feel like Pollinate is going to be something which they can really look at, and they have this platform that where they can really put out their projects, put out their works, have the world see what it is about, and get the crowdfunding and get themselves funded, and just be very prosperous with their work. I mean, like this is some opportunity, like we can actually give a lot of artists around. It's just not artists, any creators, musicians. Now we're talking about gamers. We're talking about gaming guilds, as in like we know a lot of gamers who is really good, and of course they need a lot of backing in terms of funds. So that ways Pollinate can really help them, and yeah, and we're really looking forward to actually helping these guys out. So to
Exactly, and
me,
on that point as well, Gerald, like you touched on that point where he's got artists who are fantastic, they're so talented, but just because they don't have the social capital, they can't get out there. They don't know the methods of doing so. They don't have the financial capital to actually go out, exhibit their artwork, show the world what they can do. And I think art is a dying format, and it's being brought back with NFTs. And I think the music industry as well is vital for that. If you look at NFTs now and where it's going, because music is an art form, okay, and I think it's just become so mainstream and so easy to get hold of with stuff like SoundCloud and with Spotify and so on. It's not seen as an art the way that it once was, right? So with that, music, games, guilds, so games, we've got a game launching on Pollinate next week, which we're really, really excited about, because it allows us to now find new ways of funding that can benefit both the creator and also the project itself. So with art, with music, with film, with publishing, these are all forms of art. And it's a case of getting the funding from the individuals, as opposed to these artists selling their dreams to an executive or an entity, and then the entity or the executive taking that dream, changing it, and saying, okay, we need this to sell, and we don't know what the market wants, but this is kind of where the market is. Whereas what Polinate is doing is saying, well, your fans, the people who are going to watch this, the people who are going to hear this and see this, they're dictating to you what they want to see, what they want to hear, and how they want to perceive things. So now it's creating that engagement that was never there before, and creating that ecosystem of fans, investors, creators, and creators in any aspect. That could be, as we said, art, music, film, publishing, games, guilds, or any other form. And yeah, so games and guilds are the latest two additions that we've had, and I cannot wait to speak to you, Scott, and the rest of the Phantasma Chain team about how we can really integrate, your smart NFT technology into some of the games that we're bringing on. But yeah, some of the games. So the games, they're doing raises, like they're pre-selling, assets within the game that are going to be deliverable when the game launches. We've got guilds that are looking to raise on Pollinate, so the guilds are going to be looking at buying NFTs to be able to lend those out, and then whoever backs them, they can get stuff like revenue share. They can get things like special access to the guild. They can get paid subscriptions where they're discounted or free paid subscriptions for a certain amount of time. The rewards are endless. It's a case of, can you find the demand for what you're selling, and if you can, then Pollinate's the place to sell it.
That's fascinating. As we started to explore that, and I put up the title right now in regards to smart NFTs, and try to understand some of the benefits in regards to what smart NFTs might mean in regards to some of these creators. And you start to go down the path of music, and it just got me thinking a little bit that we had a recent launch, and visualize this. Your average band that just went through the pandemic, that didn't bring in any revenue, didn't have the opportunity to create any live music, and their passion really is to maybe fund their next video, or be able to have the funds to go and do get on a tour of some sort. And we just did a campaign on our chain, but the challenge was for the musician was, how do I actually go ahead and do all this and incorporate an NFT into it? Now, an example with a smart NFT and the capabilities that they had were we're able to embed and nest an NFT into an NFT into an NFT, and that included, for example, they launched their song initially on the blockchain before the radio, and this is a national band in the United States that's played in at least 52 states across America and 5 or 6 other countries. So they've got a fairly broad audience, and then a month later they launched it on the radio network, and it gave their buyers, their fans, the opportunity to actually own the music and then get a documentary that was the creation of it, and we were able to relate it to a CD and opening it up. Now, this platform here, Polinate, could have facilitated all the front end management of all that, and then Phantasma could have facilitated the access of that NFT as one particular example. Now, a previous life that I lived is, I guess you could say, I was a content creator or an educator, and I still am to some degree in education in the world of search engine optimization and internet marketing, but we'd create courses, and I have a particular course that was 60 hours recorded long, and there's different segments to it, and there's a lot of internet marketers that have these courses, and guys, the crypto world, they're coming to the crypto world now. You're going to start to see a lot of these things. I'm seeing it now, but nonetheless, content being sold, and for any crypto creators that are in the world, this may be an option. You're taking a particular course and having an NFT that's, a different component of it, and then that NFT could become a potentially tradable asset, and you can offer a free aspect of that, and that gives you a whole bunch of metrics for tracking. So it's completely changing your ability to raise funds for a project and then offer value to your community with Polinate and Phantasma's smart NFTs. One other thing that I wanted to bring into this, and we didn't quite touch on this, guys, but the fact that Phantasma has the ability to offer a white label NFT marketplace for that side of the launch of the INO. And just our most recent launch, friends of mine, are Blood Ruin and their current sale that they have going on, and just thought I would throw the the white label. Now, they designed their full UI themselves, but that's integrated directly to the Phantasma blockchain and the NFT marketplace. If they are to launch any of those campaigns with our smart NFTs, and so. Everything is completely fully customizable, and this is just kind of a front end example of a game that's offering that INO concept of raising funds for the creation of their game, and offering different levels of value, and having their own white label NFT marketplace. So it's really cool to see these tools being built, and these platforms that are coming together like this. And we hope to bring you several projects and create a demand, Babs, that we're going to get to a new level of integration with Polinate as Polinate grows and Phantasma grows. It's quite exciting, this partnership.
It is, honestly, it is, because the thing is, I think that the main objective and goal for both entities is the growth of this industry, bringing this to people and changing people's lives, right? And I think Polinate providing or allowing people to be able to fund in so many various different ways, and not just limiting it to the way that's traditionally done in the crypto industry via token sales, is something that's going to really empower traditional artists to come on and find their independence. But then it's going to allow them to go onto Phantasma and play with smart NFTs and find a new realm of assets that they can push out, and not just push out now, but know that they can expand on, and they can change and kind of evolve over time, right? With the smart NFT capabilities. So I think being able to do that and being able to cater for that and introducing that into the world, that in itself is a massive milestone for both of us.
It's incredible. I mean, you can't see it right now. I probably should have done. I could do this. I could let you see what I'm seeing, and use the word. unbanked and empowering the unbanked, and just this statistic alone, 55 million people in the United States alone, of a country that's slightly over 300 million people. That's a significant percentage that don't have access to capital to fund their dreams. And some of the stories that are being generated because of this technology is fascinating. So just the concept of empowering the unbanked alone is great. Of course, charitable causes, I mean, that helps out a lot of different aspects in protecting the environment. Well, Phantasma Chain, as we know, is a carbon neutral, moving towards carbon negative blockchain. And we actually have a real cool project that I'm not sure you're aware of, but we just launched with Save Planet Earth, excuse me, that's saving the planet. And Save Planet Earth has got relationships with the World Wildlife Federation, WWF, that have agreements in Arab Nation to plant 1.3 billion trees to help offset carbon. All from the functionality of NFTs. So now imagine taking that technology and incorporating that into your cause. You immediately create a charitable cause for the growth of your passion project by utilizing a Phantasma Smart NFT.
Absolutely.
It's really neat. And here we're looking at the sports section. I'll make sure my face isn't covering it, but it got me into crypto is actually being a youth hockey coach. I've been coaching youth hockey for about 8 years of my son's career, and long story short, one of the hockey moms identified that there was a wealthy individual that was successful at trading, and I asked him if he could teach me a few things about trading. He said, "Scott, I don't trade, but I'm in this world of crypto," and he taught me a little bit, and this is where I am now. But the world of sports, and we think about some even sports organizations, youth sports organizations that are constantly trying to raise funds. It's blowing my mind up on how easy it is now for a sports club to raise money with these youths that have all got these phones and these products. They are now all knowing what NFTs are and these different elements to create that. And it's fascinating. You could take it global and get grandpa and grandma investing into stuff and owning assets and to help raise money for the team. So I could just go on and on about the opportunities here with this collaboration. I hope that we are going to have the soldiers get out there and share this concept, because this is going to bring use, utility, and adoption to our chain, as well as the Polinate community.
Absolutely, and on that point, obviously, one of the things that we are going to do on Polinate is any of the creators that come on, or any of the projects that come on to raise on Polinate that are yet to execute on their idea and mint their NFTs. We are going to be showing them Phantasma Chain, showing them the benefits of it, the whole environmental stability point of view, and also with that, the smart NFT and the capabilities. Because one of the things that we've realized is creators within this space, they know of the very few. They know of the Ethereum and OpenSea and Foundation app, but outside of that, they don't really know all the possibilities that are there for them. So I'm really, really excited to be able to actually show Phantasma Chain, show artists and creatives what they can do, what they've been missing out on, and how they can take their art even further.
It's really interesting, the growth of this technology, and when we follow the product life cycle of anything that's ever grown, it follows a similar product lifestyle. And right now we're still in the early adopter stage. We haven't even hit the true growth stage yet, and that could be 2 to 5 years away. And so that could put us all the way back to 1998, potentially to year 2000, as far as the growth of the internet. Some argue even prior to that. And so it's exciting as these technologies are merging. And something over at Phantasma that we absolutely predicate ourselves with is the term agnosticity. That we recognize that users with technology are typically technology agnostic. I say that because I'm an Apple user, and I know there are fanboys and there are certain communities, but at the end of the day, I've got an LG monitor and an Apple computer and a Logitech microphone, and I'm somewhat technology agnostic, and blockchain usage, NFTs are also going to have that element to it. Just the
Yeah.
whole nature of decentralization and not having centralized power lends to agnosticity, and so we respect a project like Polinate that offers different choices and values to its users, and we respect that you identify us that we've got niche based value to your users, and our chain can bring features, advantages, and benefits to your users that some of your other partners can't. But at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, and we also recognize that we are chain agnostic, and we can move our tokens from one chain to another chain, and we're not far away from being able to move our non-fungible tokens to other chains as well because of that nature. And we believe that that's what blockchain needs in order for it to thrive and grow. And so, the fundamental cultures of your organization and ours are inevitably in alignment. And so, listen, Babs, I'm doing a lot of talking, and I just had a lot to share because I think that these are good messages our communities both needed to hear. But I'd like to leave you with the final word, and maybe we can see if there's any questions. Yeah, I think we'll have to revisit this in a little while too to see where some of the success stories of both of our collaborative audiences. So thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we need to do updates on those. I think collaborations are going to be coming in hot and fast. So yeah, with Pollinate, we're rushing ahead with what we're doing. We're bringing in 5 seasons. So the first season is going to be gaming and guilds, which is set to launch in the next few days. Again, we've got our first game launching next week. And whilst we get the creators ready, because I think artists and musicians, bringing them on board into the crypto space, making sure that the process is as seamless as possible. I think in the back end, what people are going to be seeing is a lot of work going on between Polinate and Phantasma, where we're taking creators onto Phantasma Chain, showing them the benefits of the smart NFTs, showing them the benefits of the creativity on what they can do on smart chains instead of using your standard NFT processes. And hopefully, in a couple of months' time, having a whole load of artists raising funding and using Phantasma Chain smart NFT technology to do so. So let's see where we get with that. I am really hopeful. We've already pitched Phantasma Chain to a few of our artists. They didn't have a clue that these capabilities existed. So again, those are people that we're going to be pushing through, hopefully setting up groups with you, Scott, so we can get some introductions, get some inductions on how the technology works and how best to move forward with that. But yeah, I mean, look, I think the collaboration is going to be one that has merit. There's a lot to do here. It's not just a partnership for the sake of being a partnership, and that's what I love. So yeah, love to all this. Hope we get on board as well.
So listen, I guess I'm gonna fix the screen because we got something blurry, and I'm gonna kick off the Q&A with one question. And then I'll just scroll through to see if we've got any other questions of anybody that's got in regards. But I want to launch a project on Polinate. What do I do? Who do I talk to? Where do I go?
So to launch a project on Polinate is quite simple and straightforward. You go onto our website, polinate.io, create an account, and then click on Start a Project. Once you click on Start a Project, you'll have an application form, just a quick description, what you want to raise for, what you want to do, and just some social media links just for us to verify who you are. And then within 24 hours, one of the team members will reach out to you. Now, to make that process even easier, we're going to give the option of just recording a video as opposed to filling out the form. So you could just do a 30-second video, introduce who you are, what you want to do, what you want to raise for. One of the team members will then reach out to you and we'll go through the full application, get everything aligned, and then get you onto the platform whenever you want to be on.
How do I help my vetting process?
Be genuine, be true to who you are. In terms of the number one thing we want to make sure is that the people who are coming to us are genuine. Okay, so as long as you say you tell us you are who you say you are, and we can verify that, then in terms of creativity, we can't say certain person is not creative because we don't have that jurisdiction. What we might not find fascinating someone else might be. There's always a demand for some talent, right? So it's a case of, if you have art and you want to go through, the vetting process is just be who you are, prove to us that you are a human being, and you're not just using an alias, and it's as easy as that. And then once the reputation scores come in and the DAO aspects are moved in, then it's going to be more weighted on information you provided to the system, and then how the stakers and poly holders and people within the community view you, and then they'll be the ones that are vetting you.
I personally like the fact that you've got that vetting process in place, and with the futures of DAO technology, and I don't want to say anything that you don't have a part of your plan and you don't want to talk about, but the potential options that you have at your disposal with a community and a DAO, and this concept of being able to make decisions that are community driven is phenomenal.
Hopefully it works out the way we want it to.
Well, that's why I admire you, Babs. You've been at this for quite some time, and you're delivering a beautiful product.
Thank you.
And it's just people need to utilize it now and have some success stories. And I don't see why not. It would, it's much more value added than a Kickstarter, and you could run campaigns on both.
Yes.
There's no reason why you couldn't, and leverage some of their audience and offer value to Kickstarter audience of NFT tech. It's pretty profound. Polinate community wants to communicate with Phantasma. We've just got our contact forms. You can email info@Phantasma, and that will be sent to the appropriate people. It's as simple as that. We've got different account managers that we can put you in touch with based off of the needs of your project, and identify your needs. So essentially, with a project, you're going to have two organizations that are supporting you through this creation, and depending on your needs or whatnot, we can identify who are the right people for that. GameFi updates, that's definitely got to be for you.
GameFi updates, so games launching on Polinate. I mean, we've got a few lined up, but that's a bit, we can't say too much right now. There's one that's doing a very large raise at the moment. They're going to be launching on PokerStarter. They're going to be launching on Polinate. Again, we're not doing a token sale. We're helping fund and raise through other means. But in terms of, if you're talking about GameFi, as in the product GameFi, we don't really have anything in discussion with them, but definitely something that we can hit up and see what we can do.
Yeah, we're in the same position, so we'll just jump over that one then. Has the Polinate team explored ad-based funding concepts? I think that there's a huge need here for artists in funding blockchain projects.
No, we have not, but I will be adding that to our list. Gerald's making notes. So that's definitely a great idea. Again, we love taking community ideas, and our community will vouch for us. Everything that they've asked us to do, we have been on top of it if we can, if it's within our remit. So thank you for that idea. That is definitely something we'll start looking into.
Yeah, that's definitely in our list to do things.
So interesting with these projects, and I often ponder the question of, when does a project become a business? And there's 12,000 projects that exist in the crypto world, maybe more now. Most of them not going to be around in 5 to 10 years.
No, we saw that. We see that in every cycle, right?
Right, everything. But a lot of them are going to turn into businesses.
Yes.
And that I find just fascinating. So I am sure your priority list of creation and stuff that you guys want to do with your as your startup team that you have and where you're at, it's like you just got to prioritize everything. And that's it's anytime I say something, then it's just I get developers cringes and go, Scott, I know. They don't like guys like us, Gerald.
It's startup mentality, right? It's always on the go. It's always, how can we fit this in? How can we expand? How can we build out? there's never that. There's never a stop to the innovation. The ideas keep on coming, and then it's a case of, okay, how do we build this out? How do we increase our, our value? What can we bring to the market now? And that is one of the things that I love in the industry. But I've seen a lot of projects die because of that as well, because they've taken on way too much. And I think with Phantasma and Polinate, the thing that I like is we're sticking to what we're doing. We understand the needs of our communities. We understand the needs of the market. And it's a case of, well, especially, from the conversations I've had with you, Scott, we'd rather partner with projects that are doing things that we would like to and integrate those, as opposed to building competition and wasting resources, right? If there's someone out there doing something at the level we believe is a good level, and they're performing and they're providing the market with what we need, and they've already built it, why go out and spend money and resources to build it? Let's partner up, let's bring them into the fold, and let's really boost this ecosystem.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, when you and I have our conversations, that's what I hear at a high level. I mean, you are CEO material, and I respect that in you, and the friendship that we've developed over the course of the year, and the understanding of that, and your mindset. And I mean, that's why I feel comfortable in saying, when does a project become a business? And you're on that path, and I have confidence in this project. I have confidence in you, which lends down to the authority of the people that are underneath you and your team. I think you're really hitting a nail on a head, and you do resonate with our culture over at Phantasma, and we're also in a very similar position that we put a lot of effort into creating and continuing to provide value. But we've got a blockchain that works, and we've got businesses that are running on our blockchain. And that, from a fundamental business model, is fantastic. And
absolutely,
most projects can't say that, let alone a layer one. We're a diamond in the rough, and we believe that every day. So it's cool to work with other projects that we feel are also diamonds in the rough. We got another question here. Is Polinate working on any algorithmic content filtering? Could be useful for the inevitable blockchain social media based platforms portals in the future. A little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. I think I'll let Gerald answer that one. I know he's been doing something in that regard and working on the algorithmic content filtering. So yeah, I don't know if he wants to say too much, because it is something that he's been working on as a pet project inside with Polinate. But yeah, I'll let him say what he can and what he doesn't want to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been getting a lot of inquiries regarding this. We also have different kind of projects coming in, and of course, filtering is definitely it. Well, as of now, it's mostly kind of a semi-manual situation where we have to look at it personally. But definitely, I mean, we are in the age of AI and metaverse and things like that. So we would be kind of exploring those kind of stuff, because that's the future, and we want to keep our business sustainable and always thinking of, I don't know, 100 steps ahead maybe. So that's about it. I think Babs, these are things which, yeah, I don't think we can go beyond that, because of course we have a lot of things in our minds which we need to do. Yeah.
Well, it's a really interesting concept too, algorithmic content filtering, and that concept. I've been around that concept for 20 years of my career. And Google is really one of the first organizations that begun to identify AI in an algorithm. And working with small businesses, it was like back in the day of SEO in 2005, I could sneeze at firing 40,000 links to a website and get it ranked in overnight. But I come from a world of where my clients are some of the top paid personal injury attorneys across the United States. They're trying to win, $100,000, $1 million lawsuits. They're putting huge money into it. You go to the pay per click side, they're paying $50 to $100 a click. and then they come to me and say, I want me to rank you organically, and I've got to, reverse engineer an algorithm. Well, the point where I'm going with this is the SEO algorithm over time has just adopted AI. They just want good businesses that are out there, and the best form of marketing is word of mouth marketing, and they're just trying to replicate that and utilize numbers and ones and zeros to try and identify social sentiments and social order and the whole liking concept. I was talking yesterday with somebody about Robert Cialdini and the 6 factors of human influence and the aspect of liking and social proof. Well, these are factors in the Google algorithm as well, but they're also factors that are built inside of us, and that's artificial intelligence. And so, there's a secret sauce to Google. There's got to be a secret sauce to Polinate. But when I first read that algorithmic content filtering, that was over my head. But man, I relate it to worlds I've been in, and I get exactly where you guys are at. And so that's pretty cool stuff, man. Good question, JT. I like that. I learned something. I didn't think of that. That was not something I was thinking through with Polinate at any point. But I learned something. That's good. So listen, guys. This has been a great chat, man. I appreciate both of your time. Thanks, Babs, and thanks, Joel.
Thank you so much, Scott. Always an absolute pleasure. I know normally when we get on our calls, they can normally run well over their due time as well. So it's always having a good catch up. There's always so much going on, and I'm pretty sure it won't be too long till we have our next one.
Yeah, good. And I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this AMA by answering a question that's intended to be for you guys. And the question is Polinate looking at growing the team in the future? Well, I'll tell you what. Guess what, guys? It is. Thank you. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.